everyone, so I am here to do my labor and delivery story. Sorry, it is kind of late. I have been very busy, just trying to get into routine and, um, having two kids is a lot harder than I thought. So we're just trying to get all situated in life. So, I guess, let's see, when did my labor start? Um, on November 17th, that was a Saturday, I had some contractions during the day. They were lasting, about a minute long, but they were about 10 to 15 minutes apart. It lasted for about an hour, and then they just stopped. So I knew obviously I probably wasn't in labor. They just stopped. So I kind of went about my day, and I actually tried to eat fresh pineapple that night because I had heard, sometimes that can put you into labor. It can kind of get things going and kind of kickstart it. Sometimes it'll, make your water break and such. So I got one of the fresh cored pineapples at the store, and I ate about half of it. Ate that right before bed, and so let's see, I went to bed at about 9 o'clock that night. Throughout the night, I woke up having some very strong contractions. Probably woke up about 5 or 6 times, just laying there on my side. Couldn't talk, couldn't move. I'd have a contraction. It would just hurt. I would have to breathe through it. And then after my contraction, my body just ached. But then I just went back to sleep. So I'm not really sure if they were consistent all night. As I said, I only woke up 5 or 6 times, to very strong contractions. So I woke up at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, let's see. Actually, okay, Casey got home from work at about 6:45 in the morning, and I had just had a contraction. Because I remember waking up and I had had one in, and Casey had walked into the bedroom. So, and he touched my belly, and I told him, "Do not touch it. I had a contraction. It hurts. I'm sorry. Just leave me alone." I was just very agitated at that rate. I hurt. Um, you know, Going back with my birth with Adriana, my delivery, my labor and delivery, I didn't have go into labor naturally. I was induced, so I didn't know what true contractions felt like, and going into labor felt like. All of my contractions were induced. So, uh, he lay down, he fell asleep. I laid there for a couple more minutes. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I decided just to get up. I had to go pee. So I go to the bathroom, I sit down to pee, and I have a contraction. I have to breathe through it. It hurts. You know, I can't get up. Um, Finally, it stops, and I get up, which it seems like it was a lifetime, which I know it wasn't, but I get up. Um, and since we are actually living with my mom right now, till we decide, on a house and what we're going to do, I went to my mom's room, and, I asked her, I said, I'm having these contractions. I'm not sure if they're consistent. Do you think that we need to go to the hospital? She was like, let's time them, let's see how it goes, and we'll just go from there. So I told her, in case, I'm going to go get a shower, I'm going to shave my legs because I do not want to go into the hospital and me actually be in labor and then have to go through labor with my legs shaved. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but I don't know why. I just decided that I had to do that. So I got in the shower. Uh, it wasn't a very long shower. I washed my hair, had a contraction. I had a couple had a couple contractions while I was washing my hair. And then it came time to shaving my legs. It took me forever to shave my legs because I kept on having contractions. So I'd put my foot up on the, the side of the bathtub, towards the back of it, and I'd have a contraction. I'd have to put it down, and then the soap would wash off of my leg, and then I'd have to reapply it and keep on shaving my leg. So it took me a while. I think I had about 7 or 8 contractions in the shower. Um, so I finally got out, and I was still having them. went back in her, I got dressed, went back in her room to blow dry my hair so she could time them. Every single time I had a contraction, I told her, you know what, I can't tell you when I'm having a contraction. When I drop the blow dryer and I turn it off, I'm having a contraction. That's when it's starting. When I turn it back on, that's when it stops. So, yeah, so she started timing them, and they were staying consistent. They were 45 seconds long and a minute apart. So, and we timed them for about an hour. So, we decided that I was in labor. So, Casey had only been sleeping for, hold on 1 second. Um, anyways, let me get back to where I was going. No, 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 no. Um, okay, so they were staying consistent. So I decided it was time to go wake up Casey. He had only been sleeping for an hour and he had been at work all night. So I was felt really bad waking him up. So went and woke him up and told him we need to go to the hospital. My contractions are consistent. I am in a lot of pain. We need to go now. And going back when I when I went pee, I wiped and it was like tinged pink. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is my bloody show. And then labor can start, within a couple days. It can start within a couple hours. So I kind of took that into effect too. And I was like, you know what? I'm not really sure. Maybe I really am in labor. So Casey got up, got dressed really fast. He was halfway asleep still. And I grabbed my bags. Luckily, I had packed them just, a couple days before. No, hold on. No, give me a second. Let me finish it. Um, so I had packed them just a couple days before. So I grabbed my bags, we got in the car, and we drove to the hospital. And I decided that I was going to time my contractions on the car too, just to make sure they were consistent. And they were. They were 45 seconds long. Well, 45 seconds to a minute long, and they were a minute apart. Um, so we got to the hospital, got up to labor and delivery, and at first they took me to triage. I had to fill out some paperwork, some last minute things they needed. They asked me some questions, which took forever because every single time I had a contraction, I could not talk through it. So they did all that, and then I got changed into a gown, and she checked me. We got to the hospital at about, let's see, 8 o'clock, and I was 5 centimeters dilated and about 40% effaced. So, okay, sorry, my computer was about to die, so I had to pause it. So, anyways, okay, so she checked me. I was 4 centimeters, I'm at 5 centimeters dilated, 40% effaced. So, obviously, I was in true labor. My contractions up on the screen were peaking completely. Um, it was quite painful. So, uh, they put me in a wheelchair and they wheel me down to my room so I can get all started and IVs and everything. So, get into my room. Um, my nurse, asked me a couple questions, and she decided she was going to start my IV. So she started my IV, gave me some fluids. At this rate, my contractions were becoming more and more intense. And I had told her I want an epidural. So the anesthesiologist, he was doing a C-section at the time. And so I had to wait on him. So she made sure that as soon as he was done with her, that he was going to come down to me. So, she said I need to get 2 bags of fluids in me before, he did the epidural. So we were about a bag and a half through. I was in pain. I couldn't talk through my contractions. It just was not fun. So, anesthesiologist comes in at about, I believe, hold on. I believe that it was 10:45, 11 o'clock, and he started doing my epidural. At this rate, let's see. Okay, epidural. It was a mess this time. He stuck me once, didn't get it in the right place, so he took it out. He stuck me again, couldn't get it in, so that was the second time. And finally, the third time, he got it. It was not the most pleasant thing in the world, especially while you're having contractions and you have to stay perfectly still. But he finally got it in. So he gets it in, I lay back down, and it's not working as fast as it did with Adriana. When I had my epidural with Adriana, within 10 minutes, I was completely numb and I couldn't feel anything. So it wasn't working that well. So he had to come in and, put individual, I forget how many cc's or something, directly into the tube so it could go directly into my back. Um, he had to do it, I think, 3 times before I finally started to get there, and I was completely numb. The nurse made sure, she could only push the button every 15 minutes, so she was constantly pushing it every 15 minutes to make sure I was completely numb. Because at that rate, um, after he did the third time of it, she checked me again. Uh, well, the nurse checked me, and the doctor came in, who was on call. I did not get to have my OBGYN since it was on a Sunday, which I was not very happy about. But, at that rate, I just wanted Kailynn to come out healthy and everything good with me. So, um, she came in, she broke my bag of water. No, and at that time the nurse had checked me right before that, and I was 6 centimeters dilated. So the doctor broke my water. She said, we'll just, gonna see where it goes. You're, progressing fine. I think at that rate I was 70% effaced. So everything was going good. Mommy. Hold on. About, hold on 1 second. No. About 30 minutes later, the nurse checked me again just to make sure. And she, kind of pushed up on the baby's head, just to see if there was any more fluids to come out. And tons of fluids just came out, and her head just kind of slid right down. And that put me at a 7 centimeters dilated. So, finally, I was numb. I was comfortable. The only thing that happened is I had the shakes terrible. I could not stop shaking. Um, it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant at all. So, um, yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, trying to do videos with 4-year-old, a dog, a baby. It's not so simple. So, anyways, about, let's see, 1 o'clock, she came in, she checked me again, and I was 10 centimeters dilated, completely effaced. Everything was ready to go. So she told me that we were going to do a couple practice pushes just to see how we would go. At this rate, I was completely numb. Couldn't feel anything. I just had to go off memory of how I pushed with Adriana. So did a couple practice pushes. Kailynn was coming down. She kind of slid back up a little bit, but, I was pushing her down. So, she called the doctor, told her that I was completely dilated. I was pushing good, so the doctor came in. At this rate, as I said, I'd only done 2 practice pushes. So the doctor comes in, she told me to do another, they set up all the stirrup things and took out the bottom part of the bed, got all situated, got everything set up. Doctor, hadn't put on her mask, as she said, okay, do a push, you're having a contraction. So I pushed, and Kailynn just started coming out. She said, hold on, hold on, hold on. And she got on her mask, she got everything on, and she told me, okay, push. So I pushed. Kaylynn's head came out. She cleaned out her mouth, her nose, and then she told me to push one more time, and Kailynn just popped right out. So 5 pushes total, including practice, and Kailynn was out. I was very happy for how smooth my delivery went. I only tore a tiny bit. She told me she just had to do like a figure 8 stitch, so she said I tore just a tiny bit. Though, when it came time to push out my placenta, so, she's pushing on me, and I just did a tiny push during a contraction. My placenta came out, and, she was saying, my placenta was humongous, and it was completely dry. So she really thinks that I was really a week ahead of time. When I gave birth, I was 38 weeks and 6 days with Kailynn. She really thinks that I was 40 weeks, that I was completely full term for my placenta the way it was. So, but Kailynn was fine. Um, they had to do a couple glucose tests. I don't know why exactly they had to do them. I don't remember exactly, but they did a couple and everything came out fine. She looked perfect. Um, Nothing was wrong with her. Um, so she was completely fine. My shakes continued for about, oh, probably another like hour and a half after I gave birth. Um, but after that, I tried to eat. I got sick. I don't know if I was just eating too fast because I hadn't eaten since that night before. Um, but, after that incident of getting sick, I was completely fine. I drank some juice. I got some sugar in my blood. Um, Drank some water, and I was perfectly fine. So, overall, my labor and delivery was, I don't think I could have asked for a better labor and delivery. I am glad that I went back to my OBGYN, and I didn't have a natural birth. I, give props to those women out there who can do it. I personally do not think that I am meant to do that. I'm glad I didn't try because I don't know how I would have reacted. So, um, I'm happy with my labor and delivery. Everything went perfect. Um, so yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better, you know, birth of Kailynn. So, um, but yeah, that's about it. I plan to do a postpartum. I'll probably do a 2 week postpartum, Monday or Tuesday. I know Monday is Kaylynn's 2 week doctor's appointment, so I'll probably just do it then. Um, yeah. But if you'll have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to y'all very soon. All right, bye.